Dear students, greetings of the day. Today, let us continue our third supplementary reader, The Three Questions, written by Leo Tolstoy. In the last video, we had seen about the three questions asked by the king. For that, some learned men came to the king to answer his questions, but they all answered very differently. The king was not satisfied with the answers given by them. So the king decided to consult the hermit who was widely famous for his wisdom. The king approached the hermit and he asked the answer for his questions. But he didn't reply anything and he continued his digging work near to his hut. Then king helped the hermit in digging work. Few hours later, the king asked the answer for his question. But at that time, they heard the sound of someone running towards them. Up to that, we had seen in the last video. Today, let us see what will happen next in the section 2. Okay. The king turned round and saw a bearded man come running out of the wood. The man held his hands pressed against his stomach and blood was flowing from under them. So, by hearing that running sound, the king turned round and saw a bearded man who was running out of the wood. The man who was running held his hands by pressing his stomach because the blood was flowing from his stomach. When he reached the king, he fell fainting on the ground and moaning feebly. So, when he reached the king, he lost his consciousness and he fell on the ground and he cried by lacking his strength. Okay, the king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing. There was a large wound in his stomach. The king washed it as best he could and bandaged it with his handkerchief and with a towel the hermit had. So the king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing and saw a large wound in his stomach. Then the king cleaned the wound as best as he could and he bandaged it with his handkerchief and the towel he had. Okay. But the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandage, soaked with warm blood, and washed and rebandaged the wound. When at the last the blood ceased flowing, the man revived and asked for something to drink. The king brought fresh water and gave it to him. So the king bandaged the wound, but the blood would not stop. So again and again, the king removed the bandage which was soaked with warm blood and he washed and then he rebandaged the wound. But at last, the blood stopped flowing. Then the man asked something to drink. So the king brought fresh water and gave it to him. Meanwhile, the sun had set and it had become cool. So the king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. Lying on the bed, the man closed his eyes and was quiet. But the king was so tired from his walk and from the work he had done that he crouched down the threshold and also fell asleep so soundly that he slept all through the short summer night. So, at the same time, the sun had set and the weather became very cool. So, with the help of the hermit, the king carried the wounded man into the hermit's hut and laid him on the bed. Then the man closed his eyes and he slept quietly. But the king was so tired from his walk and the work he had done from the morning. So he adopted the position where the knees are bent down on the ground at the entrance of the room and he started sleeping. So soundly the king slept all through the night. When he woke in the morning, it was long before he could remember where he was or who was the strange bearded man lying on the bed and gazing intently at him with shining eyes. "Forgive me," said the bearded man in a weak voice when he saw that the king was awake and was looking at him. So, when the king woke up in the morning, it was long before he could remember where he was lying and who was the strange man lying on the bed. Then he looked steadily at him with shining eyes. Then the strange bearded man asked the king to forgive him when he saw that the king was awake and he was looking at him. "I don't know you and have nothing to forgive you for," said the king. "You don't know me, but I know you." By hearing the forgiveness asked by the stranger, the king got confused and he said, "I don't know about you and I have nothing to forgive you." Like that, he said, but the stranger said that, "You don't know about me, but I know you. I knew you very well." Like that, the stranger replied. Okay. "I am that enemy of yours who swore to revenge himself on you because you executed his brother and seized his property. I knew you had gone alone to see the hermit, and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return. So I came out from my ambush to find you and came upon your bodyguard, and they recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them, but should have bled to death had you not dressed my wound." Then the stranger said, "I am the enemy of you who was swore to revenge himself on you because you executed his brother and seized his property. So I planned to kill you and I followed you. Then I knew you had gone alone to see the hermit who was living in the wood forest. So I planned to kill you on your way by following you. But the day passed and you didn't return back. So I came out from my surprise attack in concealed position and came upon your bodyguard, upon near to your bodyguard. Then they recognized me and found out me, and they started to attack me. So I got wounded. Then I escaped from them, but you saved me by dressing my wound. I wished to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now, if I live and if you wish it, I will serve you as your most faithful slave and will bid my sons do the same. Forgive me." So, here I wished to kill you, but you have saved my life. But you have saved my life. Now, if you wish to forgive me, and if I live means I will serve you as your most faithful slave and will ask my sons to do the same. So, the stranger pleased the king to forgive him. Then the king was very glad to have made peace with his enemy so easily, and to have gained him for a friend. And he not only forgave him, but said he would send his servants and his own physician to attend him, and promised to restore his property. Then the king felt very happy to have made peace with his enemy so easily. Then he gained him for a friend. Then he not only forgave him, he said he would send his servants and his own physicians to attend him. Then he promised that he will return his property. Having taken leave of the wounded man, the king went out into the porch and looked around for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to beg an answer to the questions he had put. The king went out and he looked around for the hermit, because before going away, he wished once more to beg an answer to the questions he had asked. The hermit was outside on his knees, sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before. The hermit was sowing seeds in the beds that he had dug the day before yesterday. Then the king approached The hermit was sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug the day before day. Okay. Then the king approached the wise hermit and prayed for the last time to answer for his questions. But the hermit said, "You have already been answered for the questions you asked." But the king got confused and asked, "What do you mean? And who answered for my questions?" Like that, he asked. Okay. "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday, and had not dug these beds for me, but had gone your way, that man would have attacked you, and you would have repented of not having stayed with me. So, the most important time was when you were digging the beds, and I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business." Here, the hermit started to answer for the questions asked by the king. Okay. Here, the hermit replied, "Don't you see the answer given for your questions? Okay, let me explain for you now. Listen, if you had not get pity for my weakness yesterday means you may not digged these beds for me, and you will gone your way. If you went like that means the man who came to attack you will attack you, and you would have felt wrong of not stayed with me. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds for me." Okay. Then I was the most important man to listen everything. Then to do me good was your most important business. These are the answers given by the hermit to the king. Okay. Then afterwards, when that man ran to us, the most important time was when you were attending to him. For if you had not bound up his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. So then he explained the second scene. Then afterwards, the stranger ran towards us. "No, the most important time was when you were attending to him. That was the most important time in your life." Okay. Then, if you had not bound up his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. Then, that was the important time. Okay. Then, he was the most important man to listen. Then, what you did for him was your most important business. Okay. Like that, he replied. "Remember then, there is only one time that is important, that is now. It is the most important time because it is the only time when we have any power. The most necessary person is the one with whom you are, for no man knows whether he will ever have dealings with anyone else, and the most important affair is to do that person good, because for that purpose alone was man sent into this life." Here, the one thing the king want to remember is there is only one time that is important, that is which one? That is now. Okay. So it is the most important time because it is the only time when we have any power in our hand. Okay. Then the most necessary person is the one with whom you are. Then no man knows whether he will ever have any dealings with anything else. Then the most important affair is to do that person good is, because for that person alone the man was sent into this life. Like that, the hermit answered for the questions asked by the king. Okay. Okay, students, the story got over. Now I will give you the homework. Read this glossary and write the test. Then I will tell you the answer for true or false. Listen to the first one. The bearded man was an enemy of the king. Yeah, he is the enemy of the king. That's why he came to kill the king. So the answer for first one is true. Second one, the king and the hermit refused to help the wounded man. No, they are accepted to help the wounded man. Refused means rejected. Okay. So the answer for second one is false. Third one, the wounded man asked for the king's forgiveness. Yeah, he asked to forgive him. So the answer for the third one is true. Fourth one, the king promised to restore the property of the bearded man. Yeah, it's true. Okay. Then match the words in column A with their meanings in column B. This is synonyms, meanings. Okay. Okay. First one, what is the meaning for physician? Medicinal practitioner. Okay, physician means medicinal practitioner. Okay, then second one, restore means bring back. Restore means bring back. Third one, repent means regret. Okay. Fourth one, ambush means surprise attack. Okay, I think you all clear about these answers. So the homework for you is read the glossary given here, then true or false, and this match it. Okay, read this 3 Roman and write the test. Okay students, I will meet you in the next video. Thank you.